They actually showed like who's going to be talking and what the talk is, and it was fun. I am most likely in the sense that I'm probably going to buy the ticket tonight, and so that I don't miss the early bird. Don't have the PHP world though.
This is sort of what takes the lineup's always good. I'm not just saying that because I'm going to be presenting.
I saw you were presenting at Northwest PHP as well.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest. It's actually, I'm doing the same tutorial in both places. As I mentioned on chat, the world is 45 minutes long. So.
Hey, sounds like it's a better version. Is it a training thing that you're doing?
No, it is.
It's an actual presentation.
It is a tutorial slot, so it's basically the 2.5 hours, but you miss 2 talks in another track. So realistically, I am in some really freaking amazing speakers. Go see them.
Okay.
Like, see Gabby's talk on MySQL and such.
We should have a bit of a talk on that.
I really love what's coming up in presenting,
yeah.
But the opportunity cost, if I were me, I would go to first.
I think I'll look at the schedule. Because I definitely do want to see what you're showing off too. But also, can always see it.
Oh, wow.
And again, it's
Yeah,
just what type of activity, how many minutes, and
If it can be made to a Laravel type presentation, then I can always drag you up here to present it.
yeah. Well, it'll be interesting doing at some point I'll do a 1 hour version of it here in town.
Sweet.
But switching it from a tutorial presentation means it's going to be a completely different format.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, here's what I'm doing, rather than
Here's what we're going to do.
right.
Follow along.
Return the first non-null argument.
I think we're good now. Yep. And it just turned to red. So watch it. Loading up in the crowd this time.
I thought you were doing like the teacher thing where it's like, I'll just be quiet or you guys stop talking.
No, I don't want to step on conversations either. That is the other half of this equation. Should we leave the door propped open, or I feel like at this point we can probably close it?
I think walking in and seeing that's really helpful.
It does. I've gotten.
I was pretty happy to see that. I was like, well, they're ready to present.
I've gotten better at getting it up.
It's
I need to get
it doesn't get a lot easier.
I've been meaning to get the logo updated and everything, but I've actually started asking around to friends I know that do graphic design.
You're just tired of it?
It's been there for like the beginning of the meetup, so.
You see it enough times.
Yeah, I figure it's time for a little bit of a refresh. Just dazz it up and everything. Alright. Welcome everybody to Laravel Austin Meetup. Sorry to step on and end any conversations, but gave enough time to the stragglers to wander on in. We actually got a lot of newcomers, so my name is Hunter Strasick. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the organizer of the Laravel Austin Meetup. Our co-organizer unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, but in his place, one of his co-workers has shown up. He always shows up anyway, but he works for ReviewPush.com. I don't know why I'm .com because we're perfect. ReviewPush. They are sponsoring us tonight and provided the lovely Domino's pizza and sodas in the back and breadsticks for the looks of it. So thank you very much for that Review Push. Yay! And I don't have the logo up here, but it's actually in the meetup now. But since Zach is sitting back there in the corner, we also have a new sponsor for the meetup, PullRequest.com, and they're at the moment taking care of the organizer fees going forward. So yay! And we'll probably be seeing them a lot more in the future with various sponsorship perks and things. So thank you very much, Zach, and PullRequest.com. So, and then Perk.com is our sponsor, which is why I keep saying .com, like a genius. Excuse me. So, just a real quick housekeeping. calendar, we've got the PHP meetup next Thursday, August 10th. It's always a blast, and I always forget to check the freaking meetup page to know it's being talked. So
It's Magento folks talking about, I believe, software design related stuff.
awesome. So if you have some experience with Magento, use it at work, or just
It's actually general software design topics. So you don't have to use the world's heaviest e-commerce solution to get something out of the talk. Should be a good time.
Perfect.
It's awesomephp.net will forward you the meetup page.
awesome. So awesomephp.net sounds like an amazing topic. General software concepts, brain fart. Is always great to know. And the Magento folks, they presented a few times for us, haven't they?
Yeah, this is like part 2 of the one they did a couple months ago.
Got it. They seem pretty great though, so highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, and they sponsored the subgroup beverage thing.
Awesome. Gotta love the sponsors for the beverage subgroup, otherwise known as programming happy hour. Drinks. So that's going to be great. And then we've got the next Laravel Austin meetup in September on the 7th. Excuse me. And then for conferences, we've got Laracon EU. I forgot to change those dates. I read them. I was like, hey, cool, dates. And then I forgot to change them. Oops. So Laracon EU is not July because that was Laracon US. Laracon EU is August, I think it's actually August 28th to the 30th. Still, just got the month wrong. It's going to be a blast. I haven't had a chance to go myself yet because Amsterdam, expensive. Getting out there. But it always looks like a blast, and I love seeing what comes out of it once the conference kicks off and Twitter starts going crazy, showing off all the different speakers. So if it's something you can go to, I'd recommend it. Back in the States, coming up excuse me, next month is Pacific Northwest PHP. That'll be September 7th through the 9th. And I know for sure at least one person here is going, Blake, and then Ian as well. And Ian's going because he'll be presenting at the conference. So I recommend checking it out. November, which I'll show up in the calendar soon, is PHP World, which a few others, Ian as well, again, and a few others are going to. I'll be going to PHP World as well. It's going to be fun. But that is all I've got. Now I want to introduce y'all to our speaker, and she's going to be talking to us about Laravel, how she used it at her conference today. So, welcome up front, Leah.
We love you, Leia.
That's Sean Faber. If you hit HDMI on the panel behind you.
Laravel, tragic love story. About me, I majored in physics and mechanical engineering, and then I got an internship in college, programming actually with PHP, so it's kind of close to my heart. That company then offered me a full-time job, so I left school. About a year and a half later, I fell in love with Austin, moved here, and now I work at Online MetaEd. Brief history. So PHP. It was created by Erasmus Theodore, I'm sure you all know, to track visits to his online resume. So it actually was known as personal homepage. In 1997, PHP 3 came when Zeev Zarasky and Andy Gutmans decided to change PHP so that it could fit a school project for them. So they actually rewrote the underlying parser. In 1998, PHP 4 came out, where they actually rewrote the entire PHP core, and it became known as hypertext preprocessor. 2004, PHP 5 came, and it was finally supportive of object-oriented programming. And 2015, PHP 7 came out, one that we all know and love. So PHP 6 never came out. What the fuck? So because of a lack of Unicode support, they were like, yeah, let's do PHP 6. But then a lack of developers actually caused it to fall flat. Laravel. So Taylor Artwell decided that he wants a really great MVC framework for PHP. 2011, Laravel 1 comes out. It actually lacks support for controllers, so it was not truly MVC. Laravel 2 came out the same year, a little bit later. He added support for controllers, and it had become an MVC framework. And in 2012, Laravel 3, it included the command line interface we know as Artisan. Laravel 4 came out in 2013. It included a complete rewrite of Laravel. Laravel 5 is the Laravel we know today. Laravel 5.5 was actually last week, and it will come out this month. Now let's weigh the pros and cons. These are mostly grievances with PHP, obviously. Let's compare. So Python came out in 1989. It was an object-oriented programming language. Ruby, 1995, object-oriented programming language. It took PHP 9 years to get to join the race of object-oriented programming. It was finally able to meet the demands of the users. It's not exactly backwards compatible. As you scale and upgrade, legacy code becomes stubborn true, that's for sure. Upgrading to the latest version of Laravel requires a lot of changes. Most of them are small, but things still tend to break. Laravel 5.5 also requires PHP 7. And Laravel doesn't support bug fixes for its old versions. More, hiring. It's kind of hard to hire a good developer, to find a good developer to tackle legacy code in PHP. There's kind of a large learning curve with Laravel. It's easy to get started, but then once you dig a little deeper into Laravel, what the hell are facades? And what the hell is a service container? Those are kind of specific. Those are very specific to Laravel, and they're not very intuitive. Also, how well do you actually know PHP? When I first started with Laravel, it was complete magic. I didn't know what was going on under the hood. It's great until something breaks and you have no idea what's going on because everything is so obfuscated. And Laravel strips out a lot of the weirdness of PHP. So there's the very long debate of, are you a PHP dev or a Laravel dev? But there are pros, obviously. The Laravel community is huge. There's Laracasts, Netflix for all your Laravel needs. Laravel Collective, whenever Taylor Artwell decides he's done programming a specific part of the Laravel core, he hands it off to the Laravel Collective and they keep it up for you, which is great because otherwise we'd all be stuck with packages that haven't been touched in 4 months. Laravel Jobs, it's an entire site dedicated to job postings in Laravel for Laravel developers. Laravel.io is a community forum for Laravel. Laravel News is kind of self-explanatory. LaraChat is a Slack team for Laravel, etc. There's a Laravel podcast, there's the Laravel Reddit page, so much. And again, this was a con, but this is also a pro. You don't have to deal with the weird flaws of the language. For example, it means double colon in Hebrew, but I wouldn't have figured this out. Actually, my mom speaks Hebrew, and when I first saw this error message, she was right behind me. She laughed because she could actually read it, and I was confused. And let's see how it stacks up against the rest. I did not realize it was not. So Laravel is this blue line, and it's being compared to Ruby on Rails, which is red, Cake PHP, which is green, Symfony, which is yellow, and CodeIgniter, which is purple. I actually was not expecting CodeNether to be higher than the rest. But Laravel, Taylor Otwell, PHP actually grew a lot, but Laravel is definitely the most popular one. More. Laravel is constantly growing and releasing new features. The difference between 5.3 and 5.5 is 1 year, and that's pretty crazy for 3 versions. Again, facades and service containers. While you might not know what's going on when you're first starting, they're pretty great. Facades are a static interface for integrating classes with Laravel, and instead of instantiating a class and passing dependencies and what have you, you use a facade and Laravel takes care of the rest for you under the hood. But Jeffrey Wake described this stuff a lot better than I can, so definitely use Laravel. And it's simple. Simplicity is kind of Laravel's motto. Easy enough for WordPress and Drupal, custom enough for enterprise needs. Laravel's growth. It's been pretty huge. Since 2011, Laravel has released all of these and more. Some of these are from the community. Laravel 5.5, again, is coming out this month. It's offering a lot of new features, including long-term service. So I think that's 2 years of bug fixes and something like 5 years of security.
That sounds right.
Rendering mailables in the browser, which makes it so much easier to test your emails. New React front-end presets, so you're not stuck with Vue. Error page design improvement, so much more. Horizon is now a beautiful dashboard for all your jobs. Spark, plug-and-play software as a service. Shift lets you upgrade your Laravel app seamlessly. Wish I knew about this before I started. Forge is a painless PHP deployment. Cashier is a fluent interface to Stripe and Braintree subscription and billing services. And Scout, you can add full text search to your Eloquent models. Let's get to Laravel Online MedEd. Online MedEd is an adult learning platform using medicine as a sandbox. Think Khan Academy for med students. So we use it for our main site, our CMS for internal leaves, billing API, we have our app API, our faculty portal, which is institution-facing apps. It will continue to be implemented to so many more projects as the company grows. Facing and tending to your demons. So when I first started, I had to upgrade from 4.2 to 5.3. Fuck. It was terrible. Now again, Laravel isn't backwards compatible, so the upgrade was a disaster. Everything broke, obviously. But the extensive documentation helped me carefully trace all the steps necessary for the upgrade. And whatever the documentation lacked, the community helped for and made up for. Your question has usually always been answered, and if it wasn't answered, you have at least 4 places to post that question. And then I had to implement API and social authentication. That would have been a mother to implement without Laravel. Thankfully, though, I would have had to use a bunch of third-party packages that probably weren't kept up to date. Some of it was probably deprecated. Authentication without Laravel would have been a nightmare. But there is Laravel Passport and Laravel Socialite. Social logins would, with Socialite, provides a full OAuth 2 server implementation for API, fluent interface to OAuth, authentication for Facebook, Google+, Twitter, what have you. Passport, full OAuth 2 server implementation for API authentication. It was actually announced last year at Laracon when I went, and everyone flipped out. It was pretty great. And with Socialite, whenever the Facebook API changes and they decide to deprecate something without telling you, Socialite changes for you, so you no longer have to worry about social logins breaking for your site. Database queries. So raw SQL is actually really insecure to malicious attacks. They can get really disgusting and long. Laravel's Fluent Query Builder uses PDO parameter binding to protect against SQL injection attacks. And Laravel's Eloquent ORM allows you to seamlessly fetch model data from the database. Learning from your demons. Save that sweet, sweet dev time. Laravel helps you save time scaffolding so you have more time to build core features, which is awesome. Treat yourself. Laravel is genuinely fun to code in. Treat yourself. Laravel and its community will help you be the best version of you that you can be. So write good code and learn how to do other stuff good too. That was a lot faster than I thought it was, so I'm sorry.
I fully understand the Laravel 4.2 to 5.3 upgrade because that was something I also did at PERT to upgrade our API.
Yeah.
And it was something. Probably the longest upgrade I had ever tackled with Laravel. Like, there's four, we were on 4.0 when I first started, and 4.0 to 4.1, and then 4.0 to 4.2 was kind of like a breeze, and then, 4.2 to 5.
Is,
I think there was a shift at the time that could take you from 4.2 to 5.0, but there was some weird issue with Laravel, something in that upgrade process, or Laravel, something was causing lots and lots of problems, so it just became easier to upgrade to 5.3 directly somehow, and
That was crazy. Yeah, I did it gradually, and I wish there was a way to just jump straight to 5.3. And I also wish I knew about Shift before I did that.
That's what I was gonna ask if you guys use that, but I guess not.
No, that's all.
It's like $9 too.
Yeah, I actually looked at the prices, like, I would have been willing to pay
Right.
this,
Yeah.
save all of that time, and yeah.
So I'm Lay's boss, and so she was coming on board, and she told me she knew PHP, but I didn't really have a good way to know. So I said, well, here's a great project to learn, and to just understand our entire suite of products. And so 6 months later, she was finally done, and then about a month later, we found shit for $9.
Hey, it was a really good way to learn the code base.
You probably fixed some things along the way, right?
Oh yeah, I was. We're factoring a lot of the legacy code, which is
we
a lot nicer now.
I found a handful of little gremlins and demons and fun, what the hell is this doing, bits of code through the upgrades. So, if anything, you gain a lot of knowledge of what exactly your code base is while handling an upgrade like that.
Yeah, it's also really fun to see a foreign line function that could have been 20 lines easily. I also got a lot of define a variable and then an if statement using so variable user equals Leia, and then an if statement right after if user is Leia.
Ta-da!
So,
It did.
So are you guys one big Laravel app, or do you have multiple
multiple
applications?
Laravel apps,
Okay.
yeah. So our main site, our CMS, our billing API, as well as our app API, our faculty portal, which is just institution facing, and we're currently growing. So as we grow to include more fields than just medicine, they'll all be Laravel as well.
Is it all in one repository?
No.
Do you have like sub-repositories that get pulled in, or do you have like duplications of the models in like different repositories?
So that's a good question. So our CMS, yeah, is within our main site.
Okay.
Yeah, for now. It's about to be built separately. Our billing API is kind of a microcontroller that we pull into our main site. So we use for all the subscription services. Our faculty portal is we're fetching data from our main site, but we're displaying it differently and different routes for it and everything.
I'll talk about the biggest thing that we learned from that project. So there's a lot of different ways to code, right? And so we started as an intrepid startup. We just want to get something out there. We're coding to make something work, and that worked for a while. But as we started to grow, and as they kept coming out with new versions of Laravel and to keep up, we got way behind. And so we realized that we need to start coding for things to fail. And so we switched to a test-driven development, and that's really what this whole exercise has done. And that's the main reason that we're still on Laravel. It's by far the best network for test-driven development. The community is just awesome for it. And that's really where Larry's been spending a lot of time is building the tests so that going forward in the future, these upgrades won't be such a problem.
Yeah, when I first started programming Laravel, I guess my people, the developers around me, were not all for test-driven development. They were just like, let's just pop out whatever we can as best we can. So did not have that test-driven development mindset. Then I went to Laravel, and everything changed. I didn't realize that they would push it so hard, and they did, thankfully. It's a brand new world once you're doing TDD.
You know, it depends where you're coming from. So she came from an agency where the agency is just trying to push out a quick project, right? And here we have something sustainable that's going for years. The team's evolving and changing, and so you just can't do that when you get as you scale and try to grow up.
An agency has its perks, so you don't have to look at your old code ever again.
It's gone.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, I definitely working with the legacy code. Definitely learned to program like the next developer who adopts the project knows where you live.
I've never used Laravel actually for test-driven development. What is it? How does it help with that significantly? I haven't seen, I guess, that part of it.
I mean, it's exactly like TD with any other framework as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. I am not the best person to ask that.
Okay.
Jeffrey Way probably is.
It's just something I I've used it as a hobby, so I haven't really had a huge need for it for that
Yeah.
reason, but I was just curious, that was all.
Yeah, Laracon actually announced, well, they talked about a lot of helpful things that they are releasing for testing. But
Yeah. I just, anyway, it's,
yeah.
In terms of kind of taking the code and actually putting it live on whatever servers and that sort of thing, what do y'all use for that? Any sort of CI or where's it deployed to and that sort of thing?
God, wish our server guy was here. So before he started, he kind of changed the way everything works. We were just manually SSHing in and deploying AWS, which is a terrible way to do it. So I can't answer that for what we're doing right now, but yeah, we used to just push master SSH into our production server, pull master, and yeah, we used AWS. It was obviously that's not the best way to do it, and I do not recommend that to anyone.
We do have a beta server, so.
Yeah, if we didn't have beta, we would have had a talking. But yeah, Forge, like if Forge definitely help you more than I can. That's definitely probably the biggest pro for me with Laravel. I had never seen a framework have so much around it, built around it. Community is huge. Laracast does not exist for any other framework as far as I know. And it's amazing because even the simplest things like how do I use a partial, which you forget after not doing it for a year. You get to watch a quick Laracast video and find out.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Since we've got some time, and Leah actually mentioned it, and I think it's really cool, so I want to show it off anyway. As you may know, Laravel Horizon was announced at Laracon. Finally, it only took like a year before we finally found out what it is. But in case you're maybe unaware of what exactly it is, I think the best way I could describe it is supervisor on steroids for your queue jobs. At the moment, it's only for Redis-based queues, which is a bit of a bummer for like how we use queues at Perk. But before, queues were kind of just a black box of like kind of shove stuff in and then they work, and if they fail, they'll go somewhere else, and yada yada. If you're using Beanstalk, you have like Beanstalk console where you can see the JSON payload, which sort of helps sometimes, maybe. But now with Horizon, you can actually get statistics, like how many jobs your application is processing, and things like that. Let me see if I can bring it up. I probably have. Yep. You. Where are you, mouse? There you are. So, just a real quick, the dashboard will look most like this, and you'll very quickly be able to see like how many jobs your application, if you're utilizing queues, is handling per minute, past hour, how many failed jobs you had. The Q2 or Q, I mean, some call it Q, some call it 2. It's the name of the queue is taking like the max runtime, max throughput, wait time, how many processes are actually handling, working your queues, things like that. It's really easy to configure into your project. Just dump in this block to your queue configuration. Like I said, right now it looks like it's going to support other queues soon, trademark symbol, but at the moment it just handles Redis. You can actually configure a balancing scheme. So say you have like your default queue and then you have a specific like high priority queue for certain things, and your high priority, like say your default queue is handling a lot of jobs at the moment, but your high priority queue is not. Horizon will actually automatically balance those jobs and start moving them over into the high priority queue just so that they can get worked faster. And then once it clears out the backlog, it'll go back to working how you expect it to, where what you push on the high priority will get worked on the high priority and vice versa on the default, which I think is pretty incredible, actually. I can't even begin to think of how you program that. Source code's online, so now I can see how it's done, but that's really awesome. You get a better insight to your failed jobs, and you'll actually be able to see now various information about it, like an ID, which I believe will usually follow, I don't know, the ID is generated randomly. Tags are what I'm thinking. It'll be tagged with the namespace of a model that's associated with the queue job and its ID. So at video 5, see the whole stack trace from why it failed, and then even see the actual like JSON payload data from what's contained in the job, as well as any recent retries. The tags, like I showed off, if you want to monitor, you can actually tag queue jobs so you can monitor them specifically. So app job something, the most descriptive tag ever, if you ask me. Or no, that's the name of the job. The tags are first and second, which are also pretty descriptive. You can see when they're queued out, how long it ran, etc., and even drill down to failed for that specific tag if you need to. And then the balancing, like I mentioned, will basically show like, oh hey, default's got a long wait of 2 minutes, but notifications in a few seconds. Well, maybe we should shove some of those jobs off of default to be handled by the notifications queue and its workers, and then once things get back to whatever normal means for your system, it'll run things on default notifications independently. Excuse me. Allergies aren't the best. And even this part I found amazing is the metrics that are built into Horizon now. So you can actually see the throughput and runtime of your different jobs to see how they're performing. And I believe you can capture the snapshots pretty much as frequently as you want to. Like he says, you can it's a Horizon command, so you can use Laravel's built-in scheduler to just capture that every minute if you want to, if you need that fine detail of statistics, but if you don't, then you can tweak that how you need. And if your queues are running horribly, and that's a really important part of the application, you can configure notifications, either via Slack or SMS, to be notified of, oh, hey, this queue for this connection. The fact that you keep representing Redis connection a lot means that other connections must be coming soon. But you'll be able to know, like, oh, hey, something's running slow. I need to stop what I'm doing, get home, check on it, maybe if it's like super critical. Or if it's not, you'll at least know, like, all right, things are running a little bit slow right now. I might need to be aware that something could evolve if it doesn't resolve itself. That's through SMS and Slack, which is super handy. Everyone loves Slack. But yeah, that's a lot of what Horizon has to offer. I haven't had a chance to play with it myself. Like I said, we use Beanstalk for our queues at work, which Horizon does not support at the moment. But if you're using the Redis queue driver for Laravel, then you can just install the package, follow the probably like 1 or 2 installation steps, and then be good to go. And I believe Taylor just recently posted another article of how to deploy Horizon to Laravel Forge. So if you're using Forge to deploy your servers, you can follow this handy dandy medium post here and get everything set up and good to go. I'll be following this later because I do have a for fun side project that uses queues that's currently using Beanstalk queues just because it's what I know, but it doesn't have to. So I'm going to switch it to Redis queues and watch this work, and it's going to be awesome for the like 5 queue jobs a week it processes. Some awesome metrics on that one.
Is it like a composer install thing right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it doesn't actually, no worries. It doesn't run as a like separate application that talks to your queues. It actually just loads on top of your framework. It adds a /Horizon endpoint for the dashboard, and then you can configure the authentication settings so that not everybody can go digging around into your queue stuff.
It's secure by default though. It's only available in the local environment unless you change that.
Yep. So, no accidentally revealing your queue information or allowing people to just start dumping all your queue data out of nowhere. Because I can only imagine that would be awkward, to say the least. So, that's Laravel Horizon. Something else I wanted to show off. We talked about PHP 7 a little bit.
Which of those 400 tabs are you looking
Hey, you know what? There is no tab shaming. No tab shaming, Daniel. If I can dig up our fluence and hopefully I can figure out how to get back to a draft page.
What's so great about the new kernel is that it pauses all of them. The disk doesn't use up memory.
As a website developer, I'd be pretty annoyed because you have to jump through hoops and how to do background processing. But
I'm still learning Confluence. I'm trying to find the thing I started drafting.
I love Confluence. It's an awesome documentation site.
I need to start using it more.
I love the
my
fact
boss
you
is
can
sitting in
just
the
dump,
audience.
dump tables and graphs right in the middle of Confluence.
It's like, I don't know if draft will show up in search articles, but I got a better idea. That could have been any perfect.
It's a normal work conversation, okay?
It's a very productive team.
It is.
Does it make you perky?
It does. It's how I wake up in the morning. Wait, what? So, this is an excerpt from our after action report from upgrading our API servers to PHP 7. And this is dated from like July 2nd to July 8th before we performed the upgrade. As you can see, our user CPU at the time was averaging like close to 40%, spiking up occasionally to 60 and 80%, but after that, just our usual traffic dips and dives throughout the week. Below it is our load averages, which was explained to me by our sysops as the number of processes waiting for CPU or disk I/O averaged over 1, 5, and 15 minutes. Sure. I'm lacking in the sysops department, so that makes sense to me, I guess. But kind of the same pattern. Spikes, max up, great. On the day we actually perform the upgrade, you can actually see our chart start to drop, which usually would be a, oh crap, something just crashed. But in this case, we knew it was happening. You can ignore this guy here, server 24. We actually upgraded that server the week before just as a, I wonder what happens exercise. And it went great, which is why that following Monday we started upgrading the servers. And as you see, we have 1, 2, 3, no, stop it, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 servers on our API cluster. And we basically just started rolling them out of the cluster, upgrading them, and adding them back in one at a time. So you can see all the individual drops as the servers were basically like stopped, upgraded, and then rolled back in. And that's where they all kind of, at first boot, just stabilized below 10% of usage. You can kind of see the same experience here of load average. Same thing with server 24. He was the special server. And now this chart was made last week on Friday, so I didn't have Saturday, hence the giant missing gap on the right side of the chart. But as you can see, now our user CPU is basically stabilized in the roughly 15% range. Ignore this guy, server 30. Server 30, with some unfortunate timing, after we rebooted and upgraded to 7, started to reveal a disk problem, so it started having issues, and it was taken up back this week. We don't have a server 30 anymore, but we don't get spams and Sentry of PHP script execution timing out at the 30 seconds either, so it works, and our cluster is handling it just fine. So, especially now with PHP 7, we could probably actually stand to lose a few servers and save some money because we just won't need as many now in our cluster. So, if you haven't upgraded to PHP 7 yet, I would highly recommend it because it makes your servers very happy. And also, if you want to use Laravel 5.5, you have to.
What's the biggest version?
We were on 5.6 dot something or another. Yeah. And now we're on 7.1 dot something or another.
Why'd you wait so long?
It was just kind of finding timing to work on it. We were going through a lot of projects between product and taking care of a few other odds and ends, and then finally, since 5.5 was close on the horizon, I finally went to Blake and was like, I want to do this. I'm going to tell sysops, and I'm sure they're going to be really happy about it, and they were happy. Actually, one of our old sysops that's now in charge of security for Rhythm 1 actually was just like, have fun with that. Just went off somewhere else. But thankfully, the upgrade went very smoothly because we actually have a few other projects, not our main API, that we started on PHP 7. So we kind of just have some Ansible scripts and everything floating around. So the upgrade went a lot smoother than I intended. So it was I told Blake on a one-on-one on Wednesday, hey, I'm going to start this project. I was like, okay. Assign the task that next Thursday. He was like, all right, well, I've got everything ready and it works in dev, and yeah, we'll just let it sit for a week. And then nothing happened in dev. Bad. It still worked, which is always good. So then we just said, all right, screw it. Just upgrade one server, see what happens. It didn't explode in a fireball, which was a positive. So now the whole cluster's upgraded. So we're almost fully PHP 7 for our main projects. We've got a few oddball servers, like a cron runner, and we're handling queues and supervisor and all that jazz that hasn't been upgraded yet. And we've got like a sub-module of our API has to run on a special server because of OpenSSL issues and talking to a third-party network that should be mega secure, old version of CentOS, yada, yada, yada. It's still on 5.6, so it's not represented in these charts just because it's kind of on its own with some fancy traffic routing, but once those and our cron runner servers get upgraded, then we'll be fully PHP 7 and able to start writing all that fancy PHP 7 code.
That no coalesce on.
It's so handy. And then we can start writing type hints, and then we can join in the community's constant back and forth bickering on if type hints are good or not. And yeah, short story, they are. If you don't want to use them, whatever, but I like using them. So, awesome. Cool. Well, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Awesome. Then, as far as I'm concerned, I've got nothing else for you all. So thank you so much for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. This has been one of your biggest meetings in the past year, so it's awesome to see everyone. If you would like to present, like Leah did, then please let me know. Reach out to me on the Meetup website, Twitter, LinkedIn. I kind of check that one infrequently. You can ask Leah. I suck at responding. Find me on Facebook, which will be interesting. Let me know. I'd love to get more speakers up here because I'm sure, especially for the kind of our seasoned attendees, I'm sure y'all are starting to get tired of listening to myself stand up here and talk, including right now, or my Eric. And we try our damnedest to kind of figure out what you'd like to know about and build topics off of that, but it'd be even better if those of you from the community would be able to present.
Slack.
Yeah.
PHP.
So if you can also reach us on the Texas PHP. What is Austin PHP? But we like.
It's Austin PHP chat.
Yeah, we half renamed it to Texas PHP.
Actually, updated the site to remove IRC because no one's IRC anymore.
Yeah, we had an IRC, then Slack happened, and then IRC died. But so this page used to have a lot more here, but now it doesn't. If you'd like to join our Slack, you can go to austinphpchat.com, send an email to that email there, and we'll get you set up. It's still awesome. Still kind of branded Austin PHP Chat just because we don't want to update the domain for the Slack, but we've more or less renamed it to the Texas PHP Slack. So we actually, have a few people from San Antonio in the Laravel Austin Meetup group from there, the DFW area as well from either the Dallas or DFW PHP Meetup group, and the guys that used to run and manage the Lone Star PHP conference. And then yeah, we're just slowly but surely gathering everyone from Texas. We just need like somebody from Houston, and I don't know any other cities in
There's
Texas.
no Houston PHP meetup, unfortunately.
What?
What?
There's none.
Another reason not to go to Houston.
It used to be a thing and then it died.
Wow.
Ouch. I know there wasn't a Laravel because I was starting to explore the ideas of trying to network more with the other Laravel meetups, but I didn't actually look for a PHP meetup in Houston. But yeah, Houston seems to just have nothing for PHP meetups. Bummer. Guess we'll just stay here in Austin, where it's not as humid. Awesome.
Probably just all the companies running stuff in .NET.
Oh boy.
It's oil and gas. So
And then,
Just
can I mention the other thing?
Yeah.
The other thing for the rest of the class is we're working on, since Lone Star PHP's last year was this year, which was really sad because it was the Texas PHP conference. We're actually, and I say we're in the sense that at least 3 people sitting in the room are working on it more, and I'm kind of just there. Working on making a new conference for Texas, but hosted here in Austin by the name of Longhorn PHP. That Twitter account is @LonghornPHP. If you want more information. And we don't have, once again, using we liberally, don't have
you're in the club, man.
dates and everything.
We have
do
dates.
not have dates published.
Yeah, published. There's no dates published yet, but if you would love to go to a PHP conference, maybe you've never been to one, you're not sure about the whole traveling thing, well, you'll be able to go to a conference right here in Austin sometime next year. You can present at it if you'd like to. Blake has already asked me, hey, You want to do something? So I gotta figure that one out. But yeah, it'll be really awesome, and you should check it out. So follow the Twitter account, and you'll get information soon. And I believe you can go to longhornphp.com and sign up for our mailing list as well.
And sign up for the email list, and we will have more things to announce soon.
Yep.
Location, dates, etc.
Awesome. All right. Now that's all I got. There's pizza left over, I believe. Please eat it. If you really want to, take it home with you because that's what it's there for. Otherwise, it's going to go back to my office or Daniel's office, whoever gets it first, and it's just going to get destroyed. And yeah, thanks for coming out, guys and gals. Thank you.
Could you sense that I was about to ask a question? You're not going anywhere, are you? So this is a list of 18,000 users. So I've done the JSON thing.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's working. I just want to see
So sometimes and
so what happens is we'll like key up on
into a
that
new
swift
variable,
ties thing.
so I can hash into it.
Then it fires off the JSON.
And I don't like doing that. I don't think
It calls the JSON.
what I would like to do is create a build an index function that update your collection. There's a hash inside that function.
It's getting all the answers for first or last name. And then builds in a way ID that it returns. So I was before I was using Echo, and it works, and return works as well. Same difference. Right. Returns preferred.
Yeah, I think so. Because I don't feel like a header.
Yeah, like I want to build something that makes our processes work.
That's one of the
Inside the collection, that will be checked first.
All right, cool. So what wasn't great about it? Rather than figures rather than
It's not that I mean, maybe one or two that I didn't, but it was just, I didn't come away from it feeling like I was really given new information. Or educated. Like we have a separate collection. Like Jeffrey's talk was pretty good. Even that one though, it was more like, it was a little more
Really low, but
pointing you in the right direction. And you can really practice yourself.
the process is one of those zero
This is a
before here.
Congratulations.
I was going to ask you a question. Since I got your plate, I was going to ask a favor. Have you used Algolia?
I have not. I've seen the talks.
I saw it like, I'm trying to update this thing for the book buying website, and like the part of it was the search thing. Yeah. I can't figure out how to like, it's really cool and easy to use, but I can't figure out fucking like how to use it.
Is it just the front end side that's throwing you off, or is it
It's a view stuff.
Like, did you see the new thing they announced? They have their own new client library for Algolia now.
I think that's what it is.
Okay. I think they announced it at Laracon.
They put a video on Laracast, like 2 days, yeah. Until they did it for it. So I was just following that. But it was like, he left a lot out to try to get people to ask questions, it seemed. Like,
I mean, if you, actually, we're not working tomorrow, so you want to see some of
okay, on Twitter, what's the primary communication?
my Twitter handle at Gmail.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
Do you use any other? Do you use anything other?
So say you can use my Twitter handle at gmail.com. That's my Gmail.
Oh, okay. They're saying tweet it to you.
Tweet me your code, please. That's the only way I accept. Yeah, no, email email's probably easiest to go or do a mail or whatever.
I might figure it out. It's a little thing, but it's like binding to the right data property the right way.
Okay, yeah.
Like reacting to it.
Yeah. Who's living up?
I guess, I don't know. See you next Thursday? Are you going next Thursday?
I'll be there. Yeah, should be there. I'll let you know. It's not even like the last time. Last time I tried, super boring. I almost fell asleep, so I'll probably go anyways just to show solidarity or whatever. But I'll look forward to it.
Thank you for your time.
It was like, here's an overview of the solid, and then it's like everybody in the room has heard of solid. We may not know it by heart, but it was all junior that heard of it. It was weird. It was like PHP 101. Or not even PHP, it was object-oriented programming. I think they had a lot more they wanted to cover, but they were going so slow. They only got through SOLI. I know what's against it.
Migration stuff you checked in. Alright, so tack it on to the next, or just keep it running or whatever, whatever you're having.
We'll see how long the next thing.
Sure.
So yeah, basically, if you were to get those sponsorships,
It'll work. I'm just trying. Yeah, like I said, I mean, he's obviously got to do something.
Yeah.
Before he can jump in, because he has a ton of explore. It's specific. I'm just trying to find out a way. I saw that you were doing. Honestly, like coming to the meetup, going to the analysis for like something I know some of the people that basically did a remote work job. Yeah, here's the capital factor. When you're saying it's not I've worked here for years extra. I think it's I'm gonna start doing that too. I was looking at ask the company here and work for the next month's company hang out in town for free, have access to their facilities, Wi-Fi, everything. So you have that like enterprise level can you work on like that? Even that not the data or is it we're just gonna meet usually unless you have like a lot of experience and just have and then you go to a so every time I try to use one of those sites, like well with the exception of dice, which is probably
Yeah.
Like I can imagine
It's
cases where that's
My office is closed tomorrow, otherwise I would just take it up there.
Oh, yeah, and it would have, well, yeah, but
I'm gonna have some.
we have,
Thanks, John.
but yeah, the whole thing with,
That's what I'm saying.
and you'll probably have something like a whole thing at that.
Yeah,
all the cases.
Because you can go on that list, it's harder to.
we're just not even keeping any.
Right. Because it bring into, there's a lot of things from time to company, like, some companies get it, but not everyone's just like, boom, it's like got like 5 years knowledge of like doing PHP. And some companies understand the level of work, alright, we're gonna bring you in, maybe you're like more of a junior level engineer, but we're going to invest into bring you to speed, teach you things, bring you down to like junior level.
I think you get there. No reason to go get all the reason work. And I don't know. Otherwise,
It would be nice, just like,
yeah, I don't know. The other fascinating thing for me is, I use .NET land just because of my.
That's where you can
I PHP Laravel framework is awesome.
I have.
It's funny, if I understand how reference to add other types of PHP Laravel, then I know what it says. .NET, just because it's so much easier to work with. And I like
I don't
when.
know, it wasn't .NET before. So some of the things that are in Laravel come from his experience.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that.
So some of like why you really like Laravel maybe coming from that.
That's probably the
So to your question earlier about why the testing piece is easier in Laravel.
It's close enough.
So there's uninitiated,
Yeah, it's not downtown, but.
PHP does not put a lot focused on testing.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of frameworks that don't even.
Yo,
testing